You don't need a mansion or a Hollywood name to leave behind a story that's more than just fame.
You don't need a yacht or a Grammy to need a will, just a family or a cat plotting world domination. Welcome to Celebrity Estate Chaos, where we prove a lot of things. Like how estate chaos isn't just for millionaires with private islands, it's for anyone with stuff, relatives, or that one weird collection you think nobody's fighting over. And chances are, they will.
Okay, let's dive in. You know that feeling, right? You're tidying up your computer, maybe deleting old files, and you find something ancient. An old photo, maybe a document you forgot about. And it just gets you thinking about all this digital stuff we gather. What actually happens to it all, when we're not around anymore?
Yeah, it's a question that's getting bigger and bigger, isn't it? Our lives are just so digital now.
Totally.
And when you look at things like cryptocurrency specifically, well, that can be a real headache for families if there's no plan in place. It's not like your standard bank account.
Exactly. So that's what we're tackling in this deep dive. Nailing down how to secure your crypto inheritance and actually all your other digital assets too.
Right.
We're using Tina Jin's book, Passing On Your Crypto Wealth, as our main guide here. It's really practical, lots of good advice, real stories.
It's a great resource. And what really stands out with crypto inheritance is how it's designed. It actively cuts out the middleman.
Right. So there's no bank to call, no customer service if your family can't get in.
Precisely. It all comes down to the private key. Think of it like the master code to your digital vault.
Okay.
If you lose that key, or if your family can't find it or use it, the crypto's just gone, poof, irretrievable.
Wow, so those private keys are everything.
Absolutely critical. And Tina's perspective in the book is pretty unique because she blends like financial know-how with a background in emergency preparedness.
Huh. That is an interesting mix. So it's a very sort of practical what-if kind of approach.
Exactly. She's really good at making you think about those scenarios you might otherwise ignore. And she uses some, pretty stark stories to make her points.
Like that guy Kevin, the one who accidentally threw out a hard drive.
Yeah, with millions in Bitcoin on it.
Ouch. Just tossed it.
A painful mistake. And it's a perfect illustration of why Tina's first big principle is leaving what she calls a treasure map. It's foundational for this whole crypto legacy thing.
Okay, a treasure map. Let's unpack that. What does that actually involve?
It means leaving super clear, really detailed instructions for your family. Not just where the private keys are, but crucially, how to actually use them.
Right, because like you said, there's no bank teller to walk them through it.
Exactly. They can't just show up and say, hey, I inherited this crypto, help me out. The responsibility is all on them, based on the map you leave. That Kevin story really hits home why this is so vital.
No kidding. Detailed instructions are non-negotiable.
They are. But then there's the flip side. What if you make things too secure? So secure that even the right people can't get in easily. Tina talks about someone named Samantha.
Okay, what happened with Samantha?
Well, she put her crypto keys in this, like super high security safe, really locked down.
Sounds sensible. So far.
Right, but then she forgot the combination.
Oh no, the ultimate irony. So frustrating.
You got it. And getting that safe professionally opened cost her a fair bit of money.
So the lesson there is?
It's Tina's second principle. Keep it safe, but not too safe. It's finding that sweet spot, somewhere between Fort Knox and just like leaving your keys on a sticky note on the fridge.
Huh. Yeah, that's a delicate balance, isn't it? Accessibility is almost as important as the security itself, in a way.
It really is. Now, another big hurdle, and this comes up a lot, is explaining all this crypto stuff to family who aren't tech savvy.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Crypto can sound like a foreign language if you're not already into it.
Totally. And that brings us to another one of Tina's stories, and her fourth principle, actually. You have to educate your heirs.
Educate your heirs. Okay, tell me about that.
She tells this story about Grandpa Joe. He meant well, right? He set up this really elaborate treasure hunt for his family. Cryptic clues, the whole deal, all leading to his crypto.
A crypto treasure hunt. Oh, boy. I can see where this might go wrong.
You guessed it. His family just couldn't figure it out. They didn't know what a seed phrase was or what a hardware wallet did. They were just lost.
Okay, quick definition then. Seed phrase, that's like the ultimate backup password, right? The master key.
Exactly, the recovery phrase. And a hardware wallet is that physical device, looks maybe like a USB stick that keeps your private keys offline. Much safer.
Got it. So Grandpa Joe's creative plan kind of backfired because he assumed his family knew the lingo.
Precisely. You can't assume they know anything. Tina stresses you need to walk them through it. Define the terms, maybe even do a practice run with a tiny amount in a test wallet so they get the feel for it.
That makes a ton of sense. Practice makes perfect, even for inheritance. It's definitely more involved than just giving someone your online banking password.
Way more involved. Okay, so thinking about passwords and accounts. What about the legal side of things? Does crypto inheritance just follow the same rules as, say, inheriting a house or stocks?
Good question. Does it?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And that leads straight into Tina's third principle. Use the legal tools before the tax man does.
Ah, interesting phrasing. Because you might think, oh, it's digital, maybe it's outside the usual legal stuff.
Yeah, that's a common mistake. But nope, crypto is an asset, just like anything else of value. It's subject to estate taxes, inheritance laws, all the usual complexities. If you don't plan for that, things can get messy.
So Tina's advice is definitely talk to lawyers, get this stuff formally documented.
Absolutely. She really emphasizes getting your crypto holdings specifically mentioned in your will, maybe setting up trusts, just like you would for other significant assets, and make sure things go where you want them to, and it could help avoid legal fights or paying more tax than necessary.
Right. Just because it's digital doesn't mean it's in some legal Wild West. The established rules still apply.
You got it. So we've got the treasure map, the security accessibility balance, educating heirs, and the legal tools. That covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, it does. But wasn't there one more key step Tina mentioned?
Yes, the final one. And it's super practical. Test your plan.
Test your plan. How do you, actually run through it?
Pretty much. The idea is simple. Make sure your instructions actually work in the real world. A plan looks great on paper, but does it hold up? Tina suggests having a trusted person try to follow your instructions.
Like a dry run for accessing everything.
Exactly. Give them the info for a small test wallet, maybe with just a few dollars worth of crypto in it, and see if they can successfully get access using only your instructions.
That is brilliant, actually. Find the kinks before it really matters.
Right. It lets you fix any confusing parts or missing steps.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap Tina Ginn's 5 big steps for crypto legacy planning. 1, leave a clear treasure map. 2, keep it safe, but make sure it's accessible. 3, use legal tools like wills and trusts. 4, educate your heirs. And 5, test the whole plan.
That's the core framework. And what's great is you don't need to be a super tech wizard to understand why these steps matter.
No, absolutely. It's about being deliberate, thinking ahead. But, hearing all this, someone might feel a bit overwhelmed. Where do you even start?
That's totally fair. It can seem like a lot. But the key, I think, is not to try and boil the ocean all at once. Just pick one thing.
Right. Like maybe just start by writing down where things are or looking into a hardware wallet.
Exactly. Pick one of Tina's steps that feels manageable and just focus on that first. Maybe it's just inventorying your digital assets. Tackling one small piece can make the whole thing feel less daunting and, build some momentum.
Good advice. Start small. Okay, so we've covered Tina's framework, the practical steps. But you mentioned earlier, it's not just about the crypto or the money, is it? There's this whole other side, our digital lives.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. All the photos, the videos, emails back and forth, social media posts, that's where the memories are, the relationships. It's hugely personal.
Yeah, the sentimental value is massive. It goes way beyond just financial assets.
For sure. And that's where Tina's perspective gets really interesting, I think. It's not just about checklists. She talks about planning your digital legacy as being fundamentally an act of love and responsibility toward the people you leave behind.
Framing it as an act of care, that changes how you think about it, doesn't it?
It really does. It makes it less of a chore and more about making sure the things that represent you, your story, your memories, aren't just lost because of a forgotten password or a deleted account.
Preserving your digital self, in a way. Making sure those connections aren't broken.
Exactly. It opens up bigger questions too, right? Like, what do you want to happen to your Facebook profile, your emails? All that stuff needs thought.
Yeah, absolutely. But, okay, practical question. If you start sharing all this info, especially about crypto, isn't there a security risk? Telling people where your keys are.
That's a very real concern, definitely. You're balancing transparency for your heirs against security from, well, everyone else.
Tina suggests thinking in layers.
Layers. What does that look like? It could mean not giving all the sensitive info directly to your heirs immediately. Maybe you use a trusted third party like your estate lawyer or one of these newer digital executor services to hold the most critical details, like the actual private keys or seed phrases.
Ah, okay. So an intermediary acts as a secure go-between.
Right, it adds a buffer. And speaking of those services, technology is catching up here. There are actually companies now that specialize in managing digital legacy.
Oh, yeah. What do they do?
Well, they offer secure platforms, kind of like digital vaults, where you can store passwords, lists of your digital assets, instructions for accounts, social media wishes, all that stuff.
And then they release it.
Yeah, they have processes to verify when someone has passed away, and then they release the information only to the people you designated beforehand. It's like a managed digital estate plan.
So should everyone be signing up for one of these?
They're definitely worth looking into, especially if you have a lot of digital stuff or complex holdings. It can make things much smoother for your family. But even if you don't use a formal service, the most important thing, honestly, just start the conversation.
Right. Talk to your family, tell them what accounts you have, generally where things are stored, what your wishes are.
Exactly. Communication is still the absolute bedrock, service or no service. Make sure someone knows the basics.
Okay. So communication is key. Now, something else that comes up in these conversations is the idea of a dead man's switch.
Yes. The automated message send out if you stop checking in. Sounds clever, right? But they can be risky.
Oh, really? How so? What can go wrong?
Well, Tina has this story in her book about a guy, Tom. He set up an email dead man switch. If you didn't log in for a certain time, it was supposed to automatically email his crypto access info to his brother.
Seems logical. What was the problem?
The emails went straight to his brother's spam folder. Never seen.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
The safety net failed because of a spam filter. That's incredibly frustrating.
Isn't it? It just shows how these automated things aren't foolproof. You can't rely on them as your only plan.
So the advice isn't necessarily never use them, but more don't put all your eggs in that one basket.
Exactly. Maybe use it as part of a plan, but make sure there are other ways for your family to get the information. Build in redundancy. Don't rely on just one single mechanism.
Layering the plan again, backup for the backup.
That's the idea. Better safe than sorry. You know, thinking about all these practicalities, the potential pitfalls, I keep coming back to what you said earlier about our digital legacy being a reflection of us.
It really is, isn't it? All those clicks, posts, photos, messages, they add up to a huge part of who we are now. How we handle that digital footprint for the future, well, it says a lot about our values. It's like curating your own little digital museum.
That's a great way to put it, a digital museum. And that actually brings up a really good question for everyone listening. If you could only give one piece of advice about your entire digital legacy, crypto, social media, photos, everything, what would that one single thing be?
Ooh, that's a tough one, boiling it all down. Okay, if I had to pick just one, it would be start the conversation now. Talk to your family, your closest friends, tell them something about your digital world. Don't wait.
Absolutely. You're essentially drawing them a map, right? So they're not lost later. It prevents them from having to hack their way through a digital jungle blindfolded.
Exactly, a roadmap. And you know what? You should probably ask them to do the same for you. It's a two-way street, really. An act of mutual care.
Well said. It's amazing how much comes down to just talking, isn't it? But it's often the step we skip, maybe because of privacy habits or just procrastination.
Yeah, we guard our digital lives closely, which is understandable. But for this planning stuff, you have to consciously bridge that gap. You'd tell someone where the spare house key is, right? Digital keys need the same hot.
That's a perfect analogy. Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, the big takeaways seem to be crystal clear with your instructions, that treasure map idea.
Right. Balance security with accessibility, no forgotten safe combinations.
Use the proper legal tools, wills, trusts, get crypto included.
Educate your heirs, don't assume they know crypto lingo.
Test your plan, do a dry run.
And underpinning it all, communicate, talk about it.
You nailed the key points. And maybe just one last piece of advice.
Go for it.
Don't be afraid to get help. This stuff can be complex. Talk to estate planning lawyers, financial advisors who get digital assets, maybe look into those digital legacy services we mentioned.
Absolutely. Professionals can guide you through the specifics. It's a relatively new area for a lot of people, so expert advice is smart.
Yeah, we're all kind of figuring out this digital frontier as we go.
True. Well, this has been really eye-opening. We've covered a lot, from the nitty-gritty of crypto keys to the bigger picture of our digital lives.
Definitely. Lots to think about.
For sure. And a huge thank you again to Tina Jin. Her book, Passing on Your Crypto Wealth, was invaluable for framing this whole discussion. If you're dealing with this, it's a fantastic resource.
Highly recommended. And thanks to all of you for tuning into this deep dive. We hope it's given you some food for thought and maybe a little nudge to start taking control of your own digital destiny.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay in control.